this lesson, we'll talk about creating some project parameters and using that in our project browser. So I'm going to start by going into my mechanical sample project in this lesson. So we're going to go inside of there. And the first thing we're going to do is go to our quick access toolbar and jump right into our project browser organization. So inside of here, we're going to actually see an extra one in here. One is called simple. We're going to see two extra view options, and the default is simple. There's an advanced and a simple. And they're given kind of funny names. These ones are all a little bit obvious, but if you notice, it says simple and then how it's organized over here. Again, these are the views, not the sheets. So if you hit edit on here, what it's going to do is it's actually grouping by the sub-discipline of the view and then just by the view name. Okay? If we go to advanced, okay, and then edit, we'll see that it's grouping by the view classification, then the subdiscipline, then the family type, and then sorting it within that grouping as by the view name. So if we go to advanced and make it current and hit apply, we click on here and hit OK, we'll notice that it's grouping by the view classification, and then it's viewing by the subdiscipline, okay, HVAC, lighting, plumbing, and then by the view type, and then by the view name. And mechanical people, the MEP people, are used to these kind of more complicated or complex sorting methods because they do use view classification and subdisciplines a little bit more than the architectural people. So all we need to do is understand how this is. In the end, all they are views. So we could go in at any point and go in here and say browser organization, and we can make a new one and just call it, none. No organization whatsoever. I'm going to make it, it's going to be called none, and I'm going to group by nothing. Hit OK. And I'm going to take none and make it current. Hit apply, hit OK. There's my new grouping, and all my views are just grouped basically alphabetically. Okay, these all have properties. They have properties. If you pick on this view, it knows its detail level. It knows its discipline. It knows its subdiscipline. It knows its view classification. Okay, so these are properties in here that each view has. If you pick on here, you'll go in and you'll see it has these different properties. View classification, you can pick in here. You can make a new one just by simply typing in subdiscipline, view classification, and discipline. Those are really the three ones that are used a little more widely with the MEP people. Definitely view classification is a good one, but by default there is no property within the template or within the project's factory set. These are man-made. Subdiscipline, view classification. Discipline is not. That is hard-coded, but subdiscipline and view classification are really added to this project. And then those properties are applied to the view, or they're applied to the template file, which is then applied to the view for control, which if you've seen our other lessons on view templates. So right now I'm sorting every view by nothing. Okay, go back into here and project browser and say, okay, that's not a good one. I'm going to go by the simple one and hit apply. Hit OK. And then what it's going to do is it's going to go by the HVAC, then the plumbing. Okay, so HVAC, it's going by the, I believe, the subdiscipline, and then by the view name. So we can check that by going in here, project browser, simple, let's edit. It's going by the subdiscipline. So if you change the subdiscipline property of the view, it'll resort itself. Like for instance, if I click in here, this view is called section main or something. So I want to find it. I'm going to right click on here and do a search and say section. Search for section. Next. Section typical. there it is, it's highlighted. See how quickly I used that search tool to find my view. So now if I click on this view, that's this view. You can tell because it's highlighted. So right now, if I go down in here, you'll see that the subdiscipline of this view is set to be power, which is why it's grouped here. But if I take this view and I take the subdiscipline and say change it to be plumbing, boom, watch what happens. Section main electrical, boom. I pick on there and it takes it out of here and it puts it into plumbing. Okay? So if you change the property of the view, it'll resort it. That's the whole idea, is this is sorting by properties of the views. So if I pick back in here and say, oh, sorry, you are actually really are power, I pick it and it resorts it back under here because power is a subdiscipline. So what you always want to do before you try to figure out what's going in here is the first thing you always want to do is go into the browser organization, look what is current, and then hit the edit button, and then you'll know why it's grouping the way it does. Okay, so what happens if there is no subdiscipline or view classification property? Okay, let's just close this guy off. Save changes, no. Let's just start a new project. Say we'll call it architectural template file. So we'll start with the architectural template file in our Revit 2013, and we'll go straight into our project organization. And it's got those set up inside of there. Okay, so if you click on one of these, even by discipline, and you say edit, okay, when you go into here, you're not going to see you're not going to be able to group by subdiscipline or classification because it's not a property of the view yet, right? If I hit cancel and cancel, if I open this view and I go down in here, I'm going to see discipline because that's a factory setting, but you won't see subdiscipline and you won't see view classification. Those are project parameters. So what I have to do is, believe it or not, and you can do it in your template file, is you go to Manage. And then over here you go to your project parameters. And I'm going to make a new project parameter. I'm going to say Add. It's going to be a project parameter, and it's going to be called, sub discipline. And it's going to be text, so I can type in whatever I want. It's going to be instant, so that it can be changed in any view. Okay, and this is the real kicker: is I need to pick the category. Okay. And I'm going to go in here all the way down and say this subdiscipline property, I want it to get added to all views. That's the kicker. This is the property, this is the view. And I'm going to be able to change it per view. Hit OK. Hit OK. I have a new project parameter, and it's associated to the view. So if I just pick on any view, it doesn't matter, and I go to the property, you'll notice it says subdiscipline. It's grouping it under the text group. Okay, let's say I want to group it under graphics instead. Okay, for whatever reason, I can go back to my project parameters. I can go subdiscipline. I can modify that and say, sorry, group that under graphics instead. Same category. It's views, view specific. Hit OK. And again, you can do this with walls or doors or windows, any project parameter you want to add. Hit OK. Now what happens is I scroll down here, there is going to be my subdiscipline, and it's moved itself up under the graphics category.